Be honest with me for a second. You saved up. You read the reviews, the glowing ones, the ones with the dramatic lighting and the reviewer closing his eyes mid-sentence like he just tasted fine wine. You pulled the trigger on a pair of speakers that cost more than your first car was worth. They arrived. You set them up exactly right. You dimmed the lights, you queued up the one song you know better than your own heartbeat, and you sat down to finally hear it the way it was meant to be heard. And your gut sank. Because it sounded like speakers. Good speakers, but not life-changing. Not money well spent. Not anywhere close to what that price tag had whispered in your ear. Here's the part that should make you angry. That disappointment usually isn't your fault. It's not your room, it's not your ears, and it's not that you need to upgrade your cables. A huge amount of the time, you simply paid for hype, a logo, a legend, a marketing budget, instead of paying for sound. So today, I'm walking you through 10 hi-fi speaker brands that, in my honest opinion, are coasting on hype more than they're earning it. And I'm not going to whisper about it. Number 6 is one almost everyone in this hobby owns or has lusted after, and it's going to sting. Number 9 might be the most expensive disappointment on the entire list. And the very last one, I think it's the single most overrated name in audio, and I've got the reasoning to back it up. Stay with me. First, you need the one idea that unlocks all 10. Sound quality is invisible. You can't see it, photograph it, or put it on a spec sheet a normal person understands. So, how do you sell something invisible for thousands of dollars? You sell a feeling. Heritage. A gorgeous cabinet. A price so high your brain assumes it must be incredible. The brands on this list have, in my view, gotten dangerously good at selling that feeling, and they're betting you'll never compare them blind against something half the price. Let's start pulling the curtain back. Number 1, the Design Trophy brand. The speaker that looks like modern art, the one with the swooping cabinet, the gleaming finish, the showroom in a fashion district. I'll be fair, it's stunning to look at. But you're paying for an industrial designer, not an acoustic engineer. So much of that budget went into the silhouette that the actual sound per dollar ends up embarrassing next to a plain black box that put its money into drivers. If you want a sculpture for your living room, buy a sculpture. Just don't tell yourself you bought the best sounding speaker in the price bracket, because you didn't. And the next one is even sneakier about where your money went. Number 2, the lifestyle audio giant. The household name. The one your relatives think is the gold standard because the box is shiny and the ads are everywhere. They make perfectly competent products. I won't pretend otherwise. But you are paying a colossal premium for a logo and a marketing machine the size of a small nation's economy. Take that exact same money to a brand that actually publishes measurements, and you'll walk away with cleaner, more honest sound and often better build quality. You're not buying the best speaker in the price range. You're buying the best advertised one. There's a difference, and it's quietly draining your wallet. Number 3, the legacy name living entirely off 1985. Every category has one, a brand that was genuinely legendary decades ago and has been coasting on that name recognition ever since. Here's the heartbreak. Your dad's vintage pair from this brand might be a tank that still sounds glorious. The thing they sell new today at a premium heritage price? Too often it's outsourced, cost-cut, and trading purely on nostalgia. And nostalgia, my friends, is not a frequency response. Don't pay legend prices for hollowed-out engineering. Speaking of paying for something that isn't really there, number 4, the spec sheet magician. The brand whose marketing is drowning in impressive-sounding numbers and proprietary technology names, words they invented, trademarked, and now use to justify the price. Here's the trick. Most of those dramatic specs are measured in ways that make them meaningless. Or they're describing a feature that's solving a problem the speaker only has because of a design choice they made to hit a price point. Big numbers feel like proof. They're usually just decoration. A speaker either reproduces sound accurately or doesn't, and that shows up in independent measurements, not in a brochure. Which brings up a brand that hates independent measurements. Number 5, the brand that refuses to be measured and gets defensive when you ask. This is the company whose fans tell you that you can't measure musicality, that the magic is in something science just can't capture. And look, listening is subjective, I respect that. But when a company actively discourages objective testing, hides its performance data, and leans entirely on flowery reviewer poetry instead of receipts, that's a flag the color of a fire truck. Companies confident in their engineering show you the numbers, the ones that don't usually have a reason. And the next brand has built an entire business model on a different kind of secrecy. Number 6. This is the one I warned you about. This is the one sitting in a lot of your living rooms right now. The Ecosystem Trap brand. This isn't about bad sound, it's about control. These are the companies that build a beautiful, effortless, wireless multi-room system and then quietly lock you inside it. Proprietary app, proprietary connections. Speakers that will only ever talk to other speakers wearing the same logo. On day one, it feels like magic. Then the pain points start landing. An app update that breaks features you paid real money for. Older models getting sunset, cut off from support, sometimes turned into glorified bricks, conveniently right around the time they'd love you to buy the new one. You didn't purchase a speaker. You signed a lease on a hostage situation, and the ransom is a fresh purchase every few years. When a company can downgrade something in your home with a software push, you never truly owned it. Sit with that, and remember it, because it connects to the dark twist I'm closing this video with. Number 7, the former budget hero that forgot what made it great. This one actually hurts because I used to recommend this brand constantly. They built their reputation on punching way above their price, incredible sound for shockingly little money. Then the reviews piled up, the name got hot, and the prices crept up, and up, and up. The newer models aren't dramatically better than the old ones. They're just more expensive, riding the goodwill the brand earned years ago. You're now paying a premium for a reputation that was built on not charging a premium. The irony writes itself. Number 8, the Bling brand. The one that wows you in a showroom with thunderous, sparkly, exciting sound that makes every other speaker in the room seem dull by comparison. Here's the cruel part. That exaggerated bass and those hyped-up highs are tuned to win a 30-second demo and to exhaust you over a long listening session. It's the speaker equivalent of a food that's all sugar. Dazzling for one bite, miserable for a meal. You take it home, you fall in love for a week, and then you find yourself listening less because something about it wears you out and you can't name what. You paid extra for a sound designed to impress strangers, not to live with you. And number 9 took that idea and bolted it to a luxury price tag. Number 9, the ultra-premium Statement brand. The one with the 5-figure flagship, the one reviewers fly across the world to hear, the one whose name you say in a hushed voice. I'm not going to claim these sound bad. They don't. But the dirty secret of high-end audio is diminishing returns, and this brand lives at the far, brutal end of that curve. You pay 10 times the price for, maybe, a 5% improvement that no one could reliably pick out in a blind test. You are funding the badge, the bragging rights, the exotic cabinet wood. Past a certain point, you stop buying sound and start buying jewelry, and at least jewelry holds its resale value. If your goal is the best possible listening experience for the money, this is the trap dressed in the most beautiful clothes. But the most overrated name of all? That's next. Number 10, the big one. The name I think is the single most overhyped in all of speakers. The everybody just knows they're the best brand. This is the one that's reached a strange place where its greatness is treated as settled fact. Not because people compared it blind and it won, but because everyone says so nobody questions it. It's the default serious recommendation. The safe answer. The brand you buy so no one can say you bought wrong. And that's exactly the problem. Its reputation has become self-sustaining, a feedback loop of prestige where the price stays sky high and the actual performance per dollar quietly slips behind hungrier, less famous competitors who are out there genuinely innovating. You're not buying the best speaker. You're buying permission to stop worrying about whether you bought the best speaker. That peace of mind is real, but it is wildly overpriced, and I think in a few years a lot of people are going to feel a little silly about it. So here's the dark thread tying all 10 together. The thing I told you to remember. The reason hype-driven speakers thrive isn't that these companies are evil masterminds in a boardroom. It's that we are emotionally invested. The moment you spend the money, your brain desperately needs you to have been right, so it goes looking for reasons to love what you bought. That's not a defect in you. That's just being human. The entire overpriced end of this industry is built on top of that one psychological glitch, and they know it better than you do. Which means the most powerful upgrade you can make this year isn't a more expensive box. It's learning to trust your own ears before you trust the price tag. Compare blind whenever you possibly can. Demand measurements. Be deeply suspicious of any brand selling you a feeling instead of data. And if a company gets defensive when you ask it to prove itself, walk away. If one of these 10 just made your stomach drop because it's standing in your living room right now, please don't beat yourself up. Every one of us has done it at least once. The fix doesn't start with regret. It starts the next time you're about to click buy. Now do me a favor and light up the comments. Which one did I get wrong? Which brand on this list do you genuinely love and think I unfairly trashed? Because I read every comment, and some of you are going to change my mind. Hit subscribe if you want the sequel, where I name the speaker brands I think are massively underrated, the ones quietly outperforming everything on this list for half the price. I'll see you in that one.